In this video, we are going to create an expert advisor that utilizes momentum indicators to make trading decisions. Let's see how we can do that. We start Metaeditor by clicking a little icon or pressing F4. This is where we will write our code for the expert advisor. The first part of the code includes the necessary libraries. We include the trade class from the standard library, which provides simplified trading methods such as PositionOpen and PositionModify. This allows us to manage our trading operations more efficiently. We instantiate a CTrade object named Trade, which will handle all trade operations, including position management. Next, we define our strategy configuration parameters. These parameters are adjustable in the Expert Advisor properties. The LookbackBars parameter is set to 50, which indicates the historical range for highs and lows, allowing us to analyze up to 1,000 candles. The MinCandlesBack parameter is set to 5, which specifies the minimum age for a valid high or low, ensuring that we only consider recent price action. The TrailingOffset parameter is set to 10.0, which provides a safety margin for the trailing stop-in points, with a range from 1 to 20. The MomentumPeriod parameter is set to 14, which defines the period for the momentum indicator calculation. Finally, the momentumThreshold parameter is set to 100.0, which serves as the threshold for momentum signals, where 100 is considered neutral. We then declare global variables and handles to store state between ticks and indicator data. The momentumHandle variable will hold the handle for the momentum indicator, while the momentumBuffer array will serve as a ring buffer for storing momentum values. The priceData array will hold the OHLC price data. The OnInit function is executed once at the start of the expert advisor for indicator setup. Inside this function, we create the momentum indicator handle using the IMomentum function, specifying the current symbol, H1 timeframe, and the momentum period. We also configure the arrays as time series, ensuring that the newest data is at index 0. This is done using the ArraySetAsSeries function for both the momentumBuffer and priceData arrays. Finally, we return the success code and INIT SUCCEEDED. Moving on, we define the position opening functions. The OpenBuyPosition function is responsible for executing a market order for a buy position. It retrieves the current ask price using the SymbolInfoDouble function and then calls the PositionOpen method from the CTrade object. The parameters for this method include the symbol, order type, volume, price, stop loss, take profit, and a comment. In this case, we specify a position size of 0.10, which means we are buying 10 micro lots. The initial stop loss and take profit are disabled by setting them to 0, and we add a comment indicating that this is a momentum position. Similarly, the OpenSellPosition function executes a market order for a sell position. It retrieves the current bid price and uses the PositionOpen method with the same parameters as the buy function, but with the order type set to order type sell. Again, we specify a position size of 0.10, meaning we are selling 10 micro lots, with the initial stop loss and take profit disabled. The OnTick function is executed on every tick and contains the core strategy logic. First, we retrieve historical price data for analysis by copying H1 candle data for the lookback period using the CopyRates function. The parameters include the symbol, timeframe, start position, count, and the target array, which is price data in this case. We also load the momentum values from the indicator buffer using the CopyBuffer function, specifying the indicator handle, buffer number, start position, count, and target array, which is momentumBuffer. Next, we check the status of open positions. We initialize a Boolean variable has open position to false and set the current position type to position type buy as a default value. We then loop through all open positions in reverse order to find relevant ones. For each position, we retrieve the unique ticket number and check if the position belongs to the current symbol. If it does, we mark has open position as true and store the type of the current position before exiting the loop. Now we move on to trend detection and position management. If the momentum buffer indicates that momentum is rising above the threshold and the previous value was below it, we check if there are no open positions. If there are none, we call the OpenBuyPosition function to open a new buy position. If there is already a buy position open, we identify the lowest low in the lookback period using the ILowest function. We check if this low is at least MinCandlesBack old and if the current price is above the identified low. If both conditions are met, we calculate the trailing stop level by adding the trailing offset to the last low price and call the processTrailingStop function to manage the trailing stop. Conversely, if the momentumBuffer indicates that momentum is falling below the threshold and the previous value was above it, we check for open positions again. If there are none, we call the OpenSellPosition function to open a new sell position. If there is already a sell position open, we identify the highest high in the lookback period using the IHighest function. We check if this high is at least MinCandlesBack old and if the current price is below the identified high. If both conditions are satisfied, we calculate the trailing stop level by subtracting the trailing offset from the last high price and call the processTrailingStop function. The processTrailingStop function is responsible for updating the stop loss for both buy and sell positions. We iterate through all open positions in reverse order for safe modifications. For each position, we select it via the ticket number and check if it matches the specified position type and belongs to the current chart symbol. We retrieve the current stop loss value and update it based on the position type. For buy positions, we check if the new stop level is higher than the current stop or if there is no existing stop loss. If either condition is met, we call the PositionModify method to update the stop loss. For sell positions, we check if the new stop level is lower than the current stop or if there is no existing stop loss and update accordingly. Finally, we press F7 to compile the code. If this was too fast for you or if you don't understand what all the code is doing, you may want to check out the premium course on our website or watch one of the basic videos first. If that works, we go back to Metaeditor by pressing F4 or clicking on the icon. Back in Metaeditor, we press Ctrl and R to start the strategy tester, pick the expert advisor that we have just created, enable the visual mode, and start a strategy test. We should see the expert advisor on the chart. If you are already a premium course member and have an idea for a video like this one, you can send us an email. In summary, we have learned how to code an expert advisor that utilizes momentum indicators to make trading decisions. We have implemented a few lines of MQL code to create a functional trading strategy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.